Good day everyone, Trainer Maxim with you. Thank you very much for joining me for this podcast. Today we're going to talk about the fascia and what we can do with it. As always, I want to thank everyone who supports me. Thank you very much everyone for your comments, suggestions, your generosity, super thanks, donations are greatly appreciated. And of course, my support angels. Thank you. Thank you everyone. There is so much talk on the internet about the fascia, myofascial relaxation, myofascial release, that would help you with your flexibility, that would help you with your strength, and so on and so forth. So let's try to figure that out. What fascia is in the first place? Say you cut a lemon, and inside the lemon you see those membranes which are holding the inners of a lemon together. That's what fascia does to your muscles. Fascia is just a simple membrane. Yes, with its own blood vessels and other structures, but essentially it's a membrane that holds the inners of the muscles together. It wraps the muscle filaments around and creates a sort of compartments connected into one muscle belly. That's your fascia. The fascia, in essence, is the inner web of your muscles. It's the structure that holds the muscle filaments together. Therefore, in reality, we directly cannot do anything to the fascia without affecting the muscles. Just like blood vessels, capillaries, and veins inside the muscles, we just can't work with them directly without affecting the muscles. We cannot stretch the fascia separately. There are no tools to improve the fascia flexibility separately from the flexibility of the muscles. Because in the first place, actually, the flexibility concept is not about the structural component of the muscles. The flexibility is the component, the main factor of flexibility is the response of the central nervous system to the excessive elongation of the muscle matter. When the brain senses that the muscle is being stretched, those signals from the sensors inside the muscles are sent to the central nervous system, and the central nervous system decides whether it's too much or too little. If it thinks that it's too much, if it exceeds the threshold of flexibility, of normal flexibility, as the brain would think, then the brain would send back the severe electrical activity to those muscles to shorten it in order to prevent any further elongation. And that's how we perceive a very good stretch. But in the first place, the flexibility is the response of the central nervous system. With the flexibility training, our main goal is to desensitize the central nervous system, to increase the threshold of flexibility inside the brain so that the brain does not overreact on the mild elongation of the muscle, on the doesn't overreact to the mild increase in the length of the muscle when we stretch. That's the main goal. The fascia plays a very passive role in it. The fascia, being a part of a muscle, is being adopted as we train the muscles. The fascia itself cannot really limit the flexibility of the muscle. Under rare circumstances, maybe when we have some nasty diseases or injuries, the fascia might be compromised locally at the spot of the trauma where we got, the bone broken or something like this. But that's a different issue. It's not really correct to think that the fascia in any way can limit our flexibility significantly. In the first place, it's the response of the central nervous system. Same with the strength. In the first place, the increase of strength is the response of the central nervous system. And I have podcasts on this. We discussed it in my podcast on flexibility and how we become stronger. Check it out if you're curious. But the strength improvement in the first place starts with the response of the central nervous system, with the recruitment of more muscle cells through the motor neurons, and so on and so forth. The fascia as a structural component of the muscles, just that, as a structural component of the muscles, just like blood vessels, just like capillaries. We can actually assume logically that if our capillaries are inflexible and we are trying to stretch the muscle, then if the capillaries are more inflexible than the muscular tissue, that the capillaries will be limiting our muscle flexibility. Technically, it makes sense, but it doesn't work this way. You cannot improve the flexibility of the capillaries separately from the muscles. You stretch the muscles, and all the inners of that muscle is going to be adjusted, is going to be adapted to the new flexibility. And that adaptation will be facilitated by the central nervous system. So I think we're all fascinated by the fascia, because fascia often, all those interesting, almost magical approaches offer sort of shortcuts to the flexibility. Do the fascia release and you will become flexible within 3 days or become stronger. Nothing of the kind exists. The flexibility training sadly needs consistency and time. The strength training as well. So we just need to focus on smart and safe training with good biomechanics, with good understanding of the movement, and so on and so forth. We need to stop looking for fast solutions, for magical bullets. Essentially, it's all snake's oil. Just people are trying to make money on that idea that the fascia relaxation will give you extra benefits with flexibility. Never ever I've done anything about my fascia. I actually back then didn't even know that it existed, the fascia concept, because now it's a trend, but back then you just stretch. It's a very dull, boring process of stretching. You take the position, you hold it for 1 minute, you make sure that all the bones and joints are placed in a good way so that you're not hurting yourself, and the brain will adapt. And if all the conditions are met and there is no injury, nothing, the brain will decide that that stretch was not really too much, and next time it will not overreact to that stretch you performed previously. And that's how you're becoming more flexible. Same with the strength training. You do that in a safe way, the brain adapts. No injury sustained, the brain will adapt. That's how you become stronger. But it takes time, dedication, and consistency. So we need to treat fascia just like we treat blood vessels and the capillaries inside the muscles. It's just an inner structure. You work with the muscles, the fascia will be adapted. You work with the muscles directly, and indirectly you will be affecting your fascia, your blood vessels, or anything else muscles have inside. But just we need to do regular exercises, regular stretching drills to work with the muscles in attempt to facilitate the response of the central nervous system, in attempt to trigger the adaptation of the central nervous system to the new conditions we create in our muscles. But again, we need to work not with the fascia, but with the muscles. So that's my take on the fascia. I suggest you just focus on normal training, on safe training, on understanding of the biomechanics of your movements, on improving your efficiency. Stop looking for shortcuts. There are no shortcuts, and actually those roads you're trying to take to better fitness are not that long, so you don't need a shortcut. If you do everything correctly, if the biomechanics is good, if everything is safe, the brain will be happy to adapt within weeks, not years. But if the biomechanics is not in place, if your joints are placed in a very tricky way, which might damage the structure of the joint, then the brain will never adapt. And yes, in this case, the training will take forever, and I understand our desire to find a shortcut because there is no progress, I'm not flexible, and it's not your fascia. It's sometimes we are not accounting for the joint structure. It's sometimes we don't understand the mechanics of the movement. Sometimes we do some unsafe elements, and the brain is protective. The brain will never adapt to something dangerous. And that's why in many cases the progress takes a lot of time, and we're trying to look for a shortcut for the fascia massage or any other magic bullet from another planet. It does not exist. Just train smart, train safe. The brain is more than happy to adapt. Okay, I think you got the idea. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. Train your maximum with you. Go enjoy your day. Bye-bye.